Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is the Narco states of West Africa, and we're fortunate to have with us Dr. LMadu to talk about the states in West Africa that are heavily involved in international drug movements. And of course, Dr. LMadu, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Thank you.
And to tell you again how delighted we are to have you here. And of course, you've been with us on many, many occasions. And as a matter of fact, we might consider you our resident African scholar, giving us that kind of information in reference to Africa. But I think, Dr. LMadu, the topic that we're dealing with today is a very, very unusual topic. And I think that in a real sense, it's a very, very informative kind of topic in terms of what is going on in the world of drugs today. And our topic, of course, is the narco states of West Africa. And let's have you start, Dr. LMadu, by giving us sort of an overview in reference to these states in West Africa that you consider to be narco states and how they became narco states.
Thank you, Dr. Henry. It's always a pleasure to be here, to discuss some current issues, concerning the African continent. As you know, this terminology was not coined by me or anybody else. In fact, the United Nations designated Guinea-Bissau as the first narco state, because of the incidences of drug transshipments in the country, and also because of the institutional support that the drug cartels seem to be getting from the government. First of all, somebody will ask, where is Guinea-Bissau? Of course, Guinea-Bissau is on the west coast of Africa, formerly a Portuguese colony. Portugal had about 3 important colonies in Africa that became independent in the 1970s. Angola, Mozambique, and Guinea-Bissau. And of the 3, really, the Guinea-Bissau liberation movement was one of the most powerful, under the legendary Amilcar Cabral, who was assassinated, in Conakry by the Portuguese. After his assassination, the Portuguese granted independence to Guinea-Bissau in 1974. His brother, Louis Cabral, became president, but he was overthrown in 1980 by General João Bernardo Vieira. Since 1980, it has been downhill, for Guinea-Bissau. The once promising revolutionary state, that Cabral had clearly articulated, became, a backwater of all sorts. It's a country of about 1.8 million people, with the capital in Bissau and several other islands. Initially, the liberation movement, combined Guinea-Bissau on the mainland with Cape Verde, an island of Cape Verde. That was why the liberation organization was called the Party for the Independence of Guinea-Bissau and Cape Verde Islands. But when Portugal granted them independence in '74, the leader of the Cape Verdean movement, Aristides Pereira, decided that Cape Verde wanted to be its own independent country, separate from Guinea-Bissau. So like I articulated before, from 1980, when General Vieira took over, that country has been very, very, very unstable, very unstable. In 1998, there was a civil war, that lasted several months. General Vieira had dismissed the army commander at that time, General Ansumane Mane, who refused to go. Refused to go, and then, rallied his own soldiers to fight back, So there was a bloody civil war, which ended when the Portuguese government decided to intervene and granted asylum to General Vieira to come to Lisbon and stay, for a while. And since there have been about 3 or 4 different governments, but in 2005, General Vieira came back again and ran for election, and won, the election. But then things weren't okay, since 2005. The army commander, General
Dr. Badu, let us interrupt right here for our first commercial break, which will allow us, when we come back, to pick up at this exact spot and to go on and to develop this issue in reference to this huge drug cartel that's being developed in West Africa. And of course, we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.
Our community's recovery from the
The topic is the